Okay, in this video I'll be installing the Computer Lab plugin for AccuSQL 2016. After that I'll open it the first time just so it writes out some public folders. I'll show you where those are. And then I will use the set data path exe program in order to connect my Computer Lab to an SQL Server database. Okay, so the first thing here is I'm going to go to my installer, which is complab sql_dist. And in that folder I have a setup.exe, so I'll go ahead and run that. And that will install my program. And I'll click Next, read the license agreement, click Accept, and then Next. And I would recommend the default installation path. Click Next, and it will automatically install for all users. Okay, once that completes, I have a launch the program checkbox here on my installer, so I'll just leave that checked and click Finish. You'll also have an icon on the desktop, a shortcut to the Computer Lab exe, and also in the Windows Start menu. Anyway, I'll click Finish, and it'll launch the program. Now, once it opens, Computer Lab is going to ask for its database directory. Now, at this point, I don't want to point it to a local database, like a native database, so I'll go ahead and cancel this, and I'll show you why. I press Cancel here. Now, let's take a look out in my C Users Public Documents folder. In there, I have an AccuTrack folder, and then an I folder that's system generated. Now, the reason that I opened the Computer Lab and then closed it was for one simple reason. It needs to write out these two db_param files. Now, the db_param files, their purpose is to store the database connection parameters. But when I first open Computer Lab, it's going to generate those files for me, so I need those in order to set my data path. Okay, so once I've opened it and just pressed Cancel, now what I'll do is go to my C program files folder, x86 in this case, and then my Computer Lab SQL 2016, that's the folder it installed to. Okay, and in this folder I have a little exe, a utility I can use to set my database location. That's called setDataPath.exe, so I'll go ahead and double click that. Oh, and again, just like you do with AccuSQL, you do need the native SQL Server ODBC connector. Okay, that's right here in my SQL drivers folder, and I have a 32-bit or a 64-bit. So you'll want to install that MSI. Now I can run through that real quick. It's already installed on mine. Oh, sorry, mine's x64, my bad. So I'll go ahead and run it here, and I'll just do a modify. But you'll see something very similar. You don't need the SDK. Just click Next, accept the defaults, and install. And then you'll have the native SQL driver if you need to install that. Anyway, back here in my, remember I ran set data path. I'm going to go ahead and set this now to my SQL Server database. And I'll test my connection, and then I'll click my database drop down. May take a moment or two. And then I'll pick the database I want to set it to, click Save. Okay, so now my Computer Lab is set to that data path, and if I open the program again, it won't ask for a database location. Instead, it will ask for an activation key. Now, it probably wouldn't do that because you may have had AccuSQL already installed. If it does, we'll provide you, of course, that key, and you can enter it. But now the Computer Lab will open, and it's ready to go. If I go log in as an administrator, default would be ones and new. Now I've changed my password on this database. But here I can go to database. So what I've done here is logged into Computer Lab as an administrator, but I can go to database location here, and you can see I'm now connected to that SQL Server database that I just set it to running the set data path. Also, if I want to set a local lab, I can do so. We have a lot of documentation on that. But you may have a particular computer lab you've defined, and you want to run your computer lab against that local lab. So you need to do that in order to capture the sign-ins that are happening at that local computer lab. I click return to sign in. Now it says welcome to computer lab, and I can start using my plugin. So here I am sitting at the front of the station. I enter a student ID, and I've got an optional password required. You can turn that on or off. Looks like I have some late media. But here you can see, because I'm set to Computer Lab, I only have Computer Lab activities or services. So I'll say I'm coming in for academic use of my computer, and now I've got my floating box. The computer is opened up, and as a student, now I can use that PC. Once I'm done, I click Sign Out, and then it goes back to a locked state, and it waits for the next student to unlock it. Okay, and that's it.